So they said to him, "Sir, give us this bread always." Jesus said to them, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never hunger, and whoever believes in me will never thirst." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Where is this bread? I want it. The crowd saw that Jesus wasn't there, so they went looking for him. Why? Was it because he had just fed them to their fill and they wanted more? Was it because they wanted to hear more of his teachings? Was it because they wanted to experience more of his miracles? Or was it because they wanted to hear more of the unfettered truth? We aren't really sure. It could have been one of these, or it could have been many of these reasons that the crowd went seeking him. But what we do know is they found him. It's interesting that Jesus creates this amazing setup. What do I mean? Well, think of your favorite movie, where the main character lures his opponent in by giving them a false sense of security. Then just when the opponent thinks that he has the main character where he wants them, boom, the main character unleashes a surprise and catches the villain or the opponent off guard. Much in the same way, Jesus has lured the crowd to him by working miracles and preaching the gospel. He cured the sick, he fed them from scraps, he walked on the water, and now he has brought them to Capernaum, where he's about to unleash a surprise. Once the disciples found Jesus, they questioned him. But then Jesus called them out by saying, "You didn't come here for more signs, you came here for more food." And here comes the ultimate setup statement. "Do not work for food that perishes, but for the food that endures eternal life." And of course, our brethren and disciples didn't absolutely fail for it. "Sir, give us this bread always." And then Jesus drops the first of many bombs. "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never hunger. Whoever believes in me will never thirst." The crowd sought Jesus, and so do we. If we think about it, not unlike the crowd at Capernaum, we were seeking Jesus recently due to the pandemic. We were locked out of our churches. We were denied the sacraments. We were denied the living bread and drink of Christ. Were we not seeking Christ? Was our hearts not burning for him? Did we not yearn for him as the crowd at Capernaum did? Not unlike the disciples in Capernaum, we were looking for the true presence of Christ that couldn't be fulfilled by a computer or television screen. I can remember the day the announcement was made. I had just finished telling a potential convert to the faith that the Catholic Church would never close its doors, ever. And I said it with conviction because I believed it with all my heart. Then, not 10 minutes after leaving him, I heard the news on the radio that the church was suspending masses. I nearly wrecked my truck. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Well, after about 8 weeks of virtual mass, my wife and I, like the crowds at Capernaum, went seeking Jesus. Where is this bread? I want it. You see, unlike the disciples at Capernaum, we believe that Jesus is true food and true drink, and we wanted it. And having been denied it and been without for almost 8 weeks, made us that much more hungry for him. Now, Jesus knew what was about to happen. And even so, he still gave them the message. He gave them the opportunity to believe. He wanted them to understand and believe that he was truly the Son of Man. And of course, later, when he actually institutes the Eucharist, that is the fulfillment of what he was trying to teach them. And even though the disciples at Capernaum may not have believed, they were given a second chance. For when Jesus instituted the Holy Eucharist at the Last Supper and then suffered his passion, death, and resurrection, these same disciples got another chance. And even though we don't know how many of these disciples eventually came to believe, for they heard it with their own ears and then later saw it come to fruition. God always gives us another chance. He is always ready to forgive us and bring us to his glory. Even though we may first deny him, through our baptism, the doors are always open, and all we have to do is walk through it. You see, my wife and I, well, we looked for our Capernaum, where Jesus, we looked and we found our Capernaum, where Jesus was present and where we were welcomed. And to receive him once again in body, soul, and divinity was absolutely glorious. And we committed to the best of our ability to never allow this to happen to us again. So, my brothers, let us too believe in the true presence of Christ in the Eucharist. But as future members of the clergy, let us never allow the doors of the church to be closed again and the faithful be denied the sacraments. I'm not saying to be disobedient to your bishop, but obedience only applies when it is not in direct conflict with morals and doctrine of the church. Therefore, we can still be obedient and find ways to minister to the faithful. Many good faithful priests and deacons did just that during the pandemic. And so too should we be that courageous. For why are we here if we're not willing to lay down our lives for Christ? Where is this bread? I want it.